What's up, YouTube? I'm back again with another review. It's been a while since I've been in front of the camera, but today I was going through some of my older stuff, and as you guys have probably seen, that I'm starting to sell off some of my items. This is an item that I think I might sell. I've had it for 3 or 4 years now. Actually, I think almost 5, and I've never actually done a video on it or talked about it. This is the U.S. Aeronautical kit emergency supply set. It says it right here, but you really can't see it at all. It says medical instrument number 8 supply set aeronautic emergency, and then on the top it would have that medical symbol. I can't remember what it's called. The bag itself, I'd say it's about a foot long, probably 4 inches wide. Has a single strap on it. And the bag itself is rubberized cotton. It is made out of the same material as the rubberized 2-quart canteen pouch. This one's from '67, and the U.S. Air Force Security Police 20-round ammo pouches. So we'll go ahead and open it up, take a look at the contents. Now this isn't complete. As far as I know, it's mostly complete. And you can see the manufacturing stamp barely left there, and then the DSA, and it's DSA-120-5021. So I think that's 1965 or 1966. So you can see the supplies up top. This is a pharyngeal airway. You can see the print there, and it's adult and child. And right there's the federal stock number, and it has instructions on how to use it. And I don't see a DSA or anything like that on there. And you can kind of see the airway here. It's got it like an S curve to it. And what I wanted to show you guys real quick is the modern day equivalent of what we use in the field today. This is a Berman airway kit, or an OPA kit, or oral pharyngeal airway kit. So we don't use these anymore, but we still use these. Obviously they're color coded for different sizes. The way that you size it is that you want the mouthpiece at the corner of the patient's lip, like so, to touch the base of their earlobe, like that. And then of course you can see all the way from the tiny little pink one all the way up to a giant orange one. So this is what we use today, the modern equivalent of that. I've only ever dropped one of these in the field, and it was on an obvious DOA. It was one of those situations where the cops thought they felt a pulse, so we worked the code anyways. That's the only time that I've ever personally used one. I've used NPAs, the nose hoses or nose trumpets, more than I've ever used one of these. But when I was doing my clinical time in the OR, I actually did see a lot of CRNAs using these. So I think that they're obviously still important. What they do is that they basically, you just put it in the person's mouth, and it keeps the airway open, or keeps the tongue out of the way, basically. So that's what they do, and here's what we use today. Anyways, back to the contents. So there's that. You have 2 eye kits with ointment, and then you have 8 pieces of tape and 2 iPads. So with eye injuries, now it doesn't look like they show it on here, but with eye injuries you always want to cover both eyes for that sympathetic movement. If you have something sticking out of this eye and you look over there, it's going to move too, and you want to basically cover both of them to prevent further damage. These ones have a DSA contract of 1976, and they're from Brooklyn, New York. We'll start on the left side and work our way over. You can see, if I could get it out there, adhesive tape surgical, 3 inches by 5 yards. It's made by Acne, and it has a contract of 1973 and a manufacturing date of December of 73, and was inspected in June of 1978. comes in a metal tin, and you just kind of pull it out like this, and you can see that it's pretty much a full roll still. So there's that. There's blades, 5 of them. It's blade surgical preparation razor, so it's razors, and as a contract in 1973, and looks like a manufacturing date of March of 1974, or April of 1974. So there's that. Then 3 bottles of betadine, or basically just iodine. And what's nice about these is that these are notorious for leaking, but as you guys can probably hear it, these are all still full, and they have not leaked at all inside the pouch. And they all are dated, contracted, or there's no manufacturing date, but they expire December of 1979. So you got 3 of those, and they're all still full. Next, of course, all these medical kits always came with water purification tablets back in the day, and they're manufactured February of 1974. Next, you have petroleum tubes, and it's got a federal stock number and manufactured October of 1972, and you can still see that the tubes are in there. Now, I'm not sure what application you would use this in for back then, but one thing that does come to mind is I was talking with an older EMT, and he said before they used chest seals for like gunshot wounds, they would use petroleum dressings. So maybe that's what you could do with those. I'm not sure if that ideology was around back then, but that's what an older EMT said that they would use for chest wounds. So you could do something with that. Then safety pins. I'm not sure how many were originally in the kit. Looks like they're not bent, they're actually curved safety pins, so that's kind of interesting. And then next you have 2 giant dressing first aid field camouflage, 7.5 by 8 inches. Red color indicates back of dressing, put other side next to wound, and it was contracted in 1973. There's 2 of those, and they're both from 1973. And behind here you have like a little CPR card. It just talks about how to breathe for somebody, and probably a bunch of outdated medical tips. But these are in a lot of those old first aid kits from the military. And then 2 triangle bandages. They say bandage, muslin, compressed. And then of course they show you on the back all the different applications on how you could use them, like slings and all that. Really handy. And these are contracted in 76 and manufactured December of 76. And then last you have 4 of these dressing first aid field individual troop camouflaged, 4 inches by 7 inches, and this was contracted in 1972. And let's see if they have, nope, so they're all contracted from 1972. And then this metal thing, you pull it out, 2 of them, and you're supposed to use this as a splint, both of these, if you need them, which wouldn't be the best thing in the world, but I suppose it's better than nothing. So for like a long bone fracture, you could use these, but I think it would be pretty difficult to bend. They're not super user friendly, but that's what these are for in here, and there's 2 of them. I want to show you guys the modern equivalent to that, and that's these. Now this is a knockoff brand, but what we call these is Sam Splints. Basically on the inside of here, in between these 2 sheets of foam, is a thin piece of sheet metal, kind of like the pans that you put like turkeys in on Thanksgiving, and then you put, or it's made with these pieces of foam glued together, and then if you have a fracture, you bend it to the shape of the fracture, and you can cut it too with trauma shears. So it's really long, but you could trim it to size. And they also make these in a number of different sizes, but we call these Sam Splints, and this is what we use today compared to that. So that's everything in this kit. Unfortunately, I didn't get a packing list, and it doesn't look like that there's really much on the internet about these. Again, this was given to me 4 or 5 years ago, and it is very nice, and I do like it, but it's not something I don't have much of a use for it. You know, it's not like a jungle first aid kit where you could use that for a marine impression or something like that. But it is really cool, like I said, and they don't pop up often. So I really don't know what the price point is for this. I'd like to try and track down a packing sheet to see how much of this is original. I'm guessing most of it is, and that it's been replaced, because the pouch itself does have a contract of 65 or 1966. So that means that everything else they replaced in it with stuff from the 70s, and then it looks like it was just never used after that. But anyways, guys, so that's going to wrap up my review of the aeronautical kit. If you guys have any questions about it, go ahead and let me know, and if I do end up listing it, I'll be listing it on eBay, so that'll be in the link in the description below. And as always, have a nice day, guys.